Good morning. Hi.
Good
Good morning,
morning.
guys. Welcome to Citron's second webinar series. Okay, we are going to start soon while we wait for the rest to join in. But before we start, let us introduce ourselves first. My name is Adrian. Hi, Shaman. My name is Adrian. I'm the program manager from Citron Technology. Over here we have Suad. She's the technical
Hi.
marketing engineer. Good morning,
Suad.
guys. Happy Labor Day. So we are not working today, but we are here to share with you on our topic is what is 3D printing and how does it work? Hi. Hi, Shaman. Okay, so we
Shaman,
are
you
starting soon.
always.
Yeah, our number one fan, our top fan.
Yeah, very good.
Okay, we will be starting in a minute while we wait for everyone to join in. So today in this series, we will talk about what is 3D printing and how does it work. Okay, during this series, we will also do a quick demonstration on a 3D printer. We will show you the main components of a 3D printer. And by today's session, you will learn how to explain to your friends, your family, what is a 3D printer. Hi, good morning. Good morning, guys. Thank you for joining.
Hi.
Okay, I can see that we are getting more and more
Yeah,
people coming in.
viewers.
Yes. Okay, shall we start? So what?
I think we can start now.
Okay, great. All right, good morning, guys. Again, we are going to talk about what is 3D printing and how does it work. So let's get started without wasting more time. In Citron's webinar series, we only get an hour to talk about a topic, and we okay, we are getting questions ready. Let's go ahead and begin sharing the agenda for today. So today's agenda, I will be explaining to you what is 3D printing. I'll assume that some of you are new to 3D printing or are curious about what is 3D printing. So bear with me, I will spend the first 5 minutes to explain what is 3D printing and a bit on the history of 3D printing. Okay, these are some of the few important and interesting lessons that we encourage you to share it with your students, and especially to your students, because in order to use a technology, first you need to understand where it comes from, who it comes from, and
Yes.
why it's there. So I will be sharing with you what is 3D printer, what are the types of technologies of a 3D printer, and history of 3D printer in the first 10 minutes in this session. By 11:15, I will pass the floor to Suad. She will share with you on the functionality of an FDM 3D printer. Okay, I hope I answered your question, Mr. Salah Osama. So the demonstration will start at 11:15. Hopefully more or less 11:15. I hope I don't talk too much during the introduction. And then the introduction will take around 20 minutes, and we will share with you. Okay, Suat over here, she will demonstrate with you with her 3D printer. Okay, her 3D printer right now is actually printing something, and you will be able to see it later. She will point it out to you which and what are the components functionality of that 3D printer. So stay tuned, 11:15. After that, we will talk about the tips and advice for starting out in 3D printing. Okay, so 11:35, me and Suad, because both of us own a 3D printer or more than a 3D printer, we would like to share with you on our experiences in 3D printing. So we have gathered a number of questions that beginners will ask, or even someone who are interested in 3D printing but aren't sure whether they should get a 3D printer or not. So we have a list of questions that both of us will try to answer. But of course, we welcome you to drop your questions in our comment section in Facebook or YouTube. We will look at it on and off during our presentation, and we will try our best to answer you. All right. Okay. So without wasting more time, let's get started. I guess we have more and more people joining already. Okay, so we already start receiving questions, which is very good. I encourage interaction between you guys and us. This is what live is for. You ask us questions, we answer your questions live. If you plan to do a video, you won't get the live interactions. So yeah. So here, so fast got question already. Muhammad Tawfiq, okay, so you asked me what is the difference between SLA and FDM. Stay tuned, I will be explaining this in our introduction very soon. Okay, right now, let's get started. So the big question here, this is the big question here. Again, during this session, me and Suad will be sharing with you on our experience and what we think is helpful to educators and beginners. Okay, so Suad and me will be here explaining to you every slides that we get in here. So the big question, what is 3D printing? If you search what is 3D printing in Google, this is what you'll get. Very straightforward. 3D printing or additive manufacturing. Okay, some people call it as an additive manufacturing, and some people call it 3D printing. It's an easier term for us to understand. Is a construction of a three-dimensional object from a CAD model or a digital model. Very simply, you have a digital 3D model. If you look at the picture on the right, you have a digital 3D model, and you want to create an actual object or an actual product. In between the process is called 3D printing. Let me give you an analogy. We always print papers in our office or at home. Am I correct? When you print a piece of paper, you have to type on your software. So when you type your Word document and you select the print button that will then send an instruction to your laser printer or your ink printer. It will send a series of instructions to your printer, and then your printer will understand, oh, now I'm going to move my ink head left and right to create the words from what you have typed in your document, in your Word file or in your PowerPoint. So it will print out a piece of paper with the words on it. Now you get a physical product, a physical piece of document. So in a way, it's converting digital form to a physical form. And in 3D printing, it's similar. You are creating a product, a 3D object from a digital 3D model. Okay, so just remember this 3D digital model and a 3D physical object. And 3D printing is going to make that happen. All right, so before I proceed to the next slide, I'm going to look at the questions again very quickly. And yeah, hopefully end of this webinar, you can get soft copy of this live on training material reference. So yes, we will be able to share with you in our Telegram group. Join us in our Telegram group later on. I will share the details there. And then there is, okay, let's proceed. So just now I mentioned that I'm going to share with you what are the types of 3D printing technology out there. Over here, I filtered the top three 3D printing technology, but of course there are more than 3D printing technology out there, but these are the top 3 common ones, and it's commercialized. You can actually get your hands on it. The first is fused deposition modeling 3D printing. okay, also known as the FDM 3D printing. In this GIF over here, you will probably be able to relate to all the 3D printers that you have seen on the market, or even from schools or from places, exhibition areas, because this is the most common 3D printers out there. FDM 3D printer basically have a nozzle at the top where it melts the material and prints the object, okay, and creates the object layer by layer. So this is fuse deposition modeling 3D printing. And then over here we have the SLA, stereolithography apparatus, or short SLA 3D printer. SLA 3D printer is a resin curing 3D printer where it beams down laser on the resins to cure the resins so that it solidifies and creates polymer for your object. So if you compare with FDM and SLA, they are both totally different technologies, but they still print 3D objects. Both share different benefits, and also they have their own disadvantage as well, advantage and disadvantage. Okay, but again, right now I'm trying to explain to you the differences of these 3D printers. Okay, later on we will have a demonstration of an FDM 3D printer, a very common 3D printer out there. Okay, it's not messy. We won't be using resins. It's very clean, and anyone can own one. Okay, I will get back to your questions soon after we complete this slide. Bear with me. So the third 3D printing technology is the SLS, Selective Laser Sintering 3D printing technology. SLS uses powder, okay? It still uses laser, right? In the name over there, you see laser sintering. So the laser beams down on a layer of powder, and once the high power laser touch the powder, it will then join or create a bond between the powder to create a polymer. So this will then create an object layer by layer. So it will first cover a layer of powder, beam the powder, the area that the powder touch with the laser will then solidify. Then it will put another layer of powder, and then the laser will move again, and then it goes on layer by layer. So this is a very accurate method, but it's of course a bit dusty, a lot of powder. But as you go on layer by layer, you are creating very accurate, it's a very accurate 3D object that you're creating using lasers. All right, but again, let me recap. 3 types of 3D printer. First, FDM. Second, SLA. And third, SLS. First, you use material, plastic material. Second, you use resins. And the third, you use powder. Okay. All right, before I continue with the history of 3D printing, because that's gonna take a bit time, I hope I can finish it fast. Let's go through the questions so that it doesn't disappear in the comment section later. Let's look at some questions that we get here. Okay. Quick question. Okay. If you were to choose a 3D printer, what type will it be? Good question, Shaman. If you're talking about the types of 3D printer that I just mentioned, the 3 types over there, first you have to identify what quality you want to print in, and then the cost. Do you want to create only something small, or do you want something big? Do you want the parts to be very accurate, or do you want the parts to be normal accuracy? So everything matters. Your final product matters. What kind of product that you want to create. All right. But of course, I will share you more detail on the advantage and disadvantage of each of these types of technology. I can quickly give you an example. SLS and SLA are able to provide a better accuracy product. SLS doesn't need support to print your object. SLA needs support. FDM needs support. Okay, that's one example that I can give you right now. But I will be able to give you more details after this session in the Telegram group. Let's continue. The history of 3D printing. Okay, this is like your sejarah class, but I hope it's more interesting. I hope you stay with me for just 5 minutes as I go through this timeline of 3D printing. Okay, take it as a storytelling. In 1981, Dr. Hideo Kodama is the first person to file a patent for rapid prototyping technology. If you realize I didn't mention the word 3D printing in 1981, that's because no one knows about 3D printing at that time. Okay, so Dr. Hideo Kodama, he patented rapid prototyping technology. At that time, it's actually SLA, resin curing system. Unfortunately, due to some funding issues, Dr. Hideo Kodama did not manage to complete his application for the patent. Okay, so the patent didn't really get through. 3 years later, 1984, Charles Hall. Okay, this is a very important person, important figure in 3D printing history. Charles Hall invented SLA patent. SLA, the stereolithographic apparatus, and he patented it in 1984 and got accepted in 1986. And in the same year, in 1986, he started his company known as the 3D Systems, right? Which is a very famous 3D company today. If you Google search 3D system, you will be able to see them everywhere. But of course, they are creating 3D printers for the industries. 2 years later, in 1988, 3D Systems launched their first SLA product to the market. Okay, that's where you see the industries are actually adopting 3D printers as part of their manufacturing process, SLA. So they use SLA printers to create prototypes. Again, I want you to focus on the year because this is 1988. It's right before I was even born. All right. So 3D printer exists long before all of us are here, 30 years ago. In the same year, 1988, DTM, another company, a startup company, they patented another type of 3D printer known as the Selective Laser Sintering, SLS 3D printer today. In 1992, DTM, they launched their first SLS product in 1992, and then there is Stratasys, also another big 3D company. They patent the fused deposition modeling 3D printing technology, which is the most common 3D printing technology today. Okay, which is what we are going to demonstrate to you later. So again, 1992, the most famous 3D printer patented. After that, very rapidly, the medical industry take up 3D printing. They also invest a lot of resources in exploring 3D printing organs. And by 1999, the world's first 3D printed organs was implanted in human. Okay, take a guess what kind of organs were implanted in humans in 1999. Okay, I guess there are so many organs we can't really guess. The organ is actually a bladder, and it's an artificial organ. So they tested this organ in a human body, and 10 years later, everything is still fine. There's no serious accidents, or there's no issue with the artificial organ, the bladder. So with that results, yeah, in the next few years, continuously, this group of scientists, they continuously produce more and more different organs. And by 2002, they created a fully functional kidney, an artificial, fully functional kidney. Okay. Fun fact: in 2 years ago, a group of scientists in California, I think they, in Israeli, so the researchers created a functional heart. Okay, a functional jantung with 3D printer. All right, that's 2 years ago. In 2005 to 2008, okay, I'm gonna get back to my story. 2005 to 2008, that's where the open source revolution started. For the 3D printing open source initiative, it was started by Red Rat. And the first 3D printer that they have created is Darwin, the 3D printer that is able to print itself. That's the most famous printer back then. I can even recall it back then in primary school and high school where we talk about, oh, do you know the machine that can print a machine itself, and then the machine can keep on printing machine? You will be rich. You can keep on printing machines. So that's actually the printer that we talked about back then. And Red Rat started the open source initiative. Okay, it didn't kick off very rapidly until the year 2009, where FDM printing process patent expired. Okay, you need to know that when the patent expire, everything changed, especially the cost of the 3D printer. So in 1992, Stratasys Patent FDM 3D printing technology. In 2009, the patent expired and the price dropped from 10,000 USD down to less than 1,000 USD. And that's the time where, that's the time where the community finally get their hand on to this 3D printer. It doesn't mean that the printer wasn't available for everyone back then. It's just super expensive. And once the patent expires, the printer becomes so cheap, everyone got a 3D printer after that. And after 2009, a lot of startups came in. They started building their own 3D printers. Okay? Two big companies that I can think of is MakerBot and also Ultimaker. So they came in and they built their own 3D printers. And then after that, you will be after 2009, you actually see a lot of new 3D printers on the market, right? Affordable 3D printers. Okay, so that's 2009, 2011 to present days. Until today, we see a lot of innovation on 3D printing technology. People created robotics arm, and they created bone replacement. They created jewelry. They even built house with 3D printers. And there are a lot of innovations happening around the world because today 3D printer is very affordable. From 10,000 USD back then until today is like 100 USD. So the difference is very huge for the 3D printing in 3D printing history. Okay, I'm not gonna dwell in the history any longer. I hope you understand the timeline of where the 3D printer comes from, how it comes, and why it's so cheap today. But of course, those who just joined, I welcome you to drop your questions. We will try our best to answer you. In our next session, we will be demonstrating to you on an FDM 3D printer. Okay, let me take a moment to look at the questions. Okay. Okay, as I've mentioned, the 3D printer organ is actually fully functional, especially if the organs that these researchers created today are actually fully functional. They use human tissues to regenerate the cells to create an actual functional organs today. Okay, and then let's take a look at another question. How to standardize printing cost based on rate per gram? Not too many obvious price offer from another 3D printing player who do this job. Okay, the 3D printing cost is totally destroyed, to be honest. 5 years to 6 years ago, it's a stable pricing for everyone, for every commercial. But after 3D printer got too affordable, everyone started to venture into this business. So the price is no longer in control. Everyone gets to decide what price they want, and the price is getting cheaper and cheaper by the day. But of course, in the end of the day, we still rely on the filament cost, and the filament cost is always fluctuating up to today. Okay, that's a very technical question, but thank you for your question again. Okay, let's proceed to our next item in our agenda, which is the functionality of an FDM 3D printer. I will pass the floor to Suad. She will share with you her 3D printer. She have the 3D printer running right now, ready for you to enjoy. Okay, Suad, thank you.
Okay, hi everyone. So, Adrian, can you share mine?
Yes.
Okay, so I would like to introduce to you guys my first 3D printer, and I already used this 3D printer around 8 months. I think I bought it last year during COVID. Okay, because at that time so many people are helping the frontliners using 3D printer, right? They create the face shield, the extender, mask extender, and then I also uh, at that time interested to be part of it, so I bought a 3D printer. So this is my 3D printer, and this is an FDM 3D printer. Can you guys tell me what is this brand uh, that I use? Anyone? Do you know what is the brand of my 3D printer? Anyone? So this the brand is Creality and the 3v2. Okay, the one that I bought. It's actually wow, so many people answer. Yeah, it's Ender 3v2. Correct, correct.
V2.
It's not Ender 3, but it is Ender 3v2. Okay, we have two versions, V1 and V2, but mine is V2. Okay, so first I would like to introduce to you what is an FDM 3 printer and how does it function. Okay, and in during this session, you will need to remember three important things. Okay, three important components. First, an FDM3 printer create object by melting plastic. Okay, plastic material. Okay, this is you guys can see, right? Let me just stand. Alright. Okay, this is the plastic material that we are using to print. Okay, and the material is PLA. Okay, the filament that I use is PLA. Okay, and I'm using a white color PLA filament. Okay, and FDM3 printer is able to work with different types of material and with different characteristics, of course, such as ABS and TPU. But what I'm using is PLA because I heard that PLA is good, especially for beginners. Okay, so that's why I use PLA compared to other types of material filament. Okay, and then okay, so when uh, that's the first thing you need to remember. Okay, we need to have a filament. Okay, and then okay, the filament will go into the extruder. Okay, this is the extruder. You guys can see, right? So the filament will go into the extruder, and then we'll go through the tube, and then we'll go to the nozzle. Okay, can you guys see the nozzle? Right. Okay, the nozzle is currently melting the filament and printing something. Okay, so okay. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I was about to talk about this. Never touch the nozzle so that you won't lose a finger. I never touch it because I'm not that brave. Okay, but there is so many people tell me that when you bought a 3D printer, okay, because I'm a beginner, okay, when you bought a 3D printer, don't ever touch the nozzle, okay, because when you touch the nozzle, because sometimes maybe you want to clean the nozzle, there is a bit of filament stuck there, and then you just touch it using your hand, using your finger especially, okay, and then you will start to smell barbecue. Okay, the smell is very good. Okay, but then I don't think the pain that you get through that is that good. Okay, so please remember, do not touch the nozzle. Okay, okay, the nozzle is very hot. So how hot? Okay, how hot the nozzle? It is depending on the material that you are using. So right now I'm using PLA, so I put the temperature to be 200 degrees Celsius. Okay, it's very hot. Even hot water is just 100 degrees Celsius. Now this one is 200 degrees Celsius, double. Okay, so don't ever try to touch it. Okay, and then if you are getting a 3D printer for your kids, especially below than 12 years old, please make sure that you are there to guide them when they are using the 3D printer, okay? Do not let them to use this on their own, okay? Because it's dangerous, it's not quite safe for kids. Okay, and then the third one, okay, so when the filament goes into the extruder and then it goes to the nozzle and the nozzle start to melt the filament, and then when the filament is melted, it will then melt on the top of the heated bed. This one, okay, this bed, okay, it is actually hot, okay, but it's not as hot as the nozzle. And I set the bed temperature to be 60 degrees Celsius, okay, which is a good temperature for printing uh, a material on that. Okay, so um, the nozzle, okay, the nozzle will move around, okay, will move around on the heated bed and then start to print the 3D object, okay, layer by layer. Okay, as you guys can see here, we start to print layer by layer. Okay, let's see right. Ah, okay, so okay, what is it
Let's take a
supposed?
look at the questions.
Ah, yeah.
We have a few questions. Some related to which 3D printer is good, but let's talk about
How
questions related to
often
3D printer.
how often you change the nozzle and level your bed? Okay, actually before I never changed the nozzle. Okay, I never changed the nozzle because it's still work perfect there. Okay, but then if you ask me how often I level my bed, okay, whenever I print something, okay, I will level the bed. Okay, but then if how to say if if the bed is already okay and then when I remove the material, the filament, the 3D object from the bed, very easy, okay. If I manage to remove the 3D printed object from the heated bed easily, I will not level the bed. Unless if when I start to print and then the alignment is a bit um,
Lari lah,
lari
not
lah,
flat. Yeah.
not
Okay.
flat, okay. When the filament is not stick to the bed, then I will do the bed leveling. Okay, it's not that often, but then I do take note on that. Okay, if not, it just go to waste all the filaments because it's like you print on air. Okay, it didn't stick to the bed. Okay,
Okay.
so you have to
Yeah.
take note on that.
Yeah.
Okay,
Let me
and then
add let me add a bit on this
mm-hmm,
question. The nozzle, if you print a lot, you may need to change very frequently. But if you print very small amount of items and you take care of your nozzle, you clean the lubang, you clean the hole, you brush your
mm-hmm,
nozzle, you keep it clean, it can last you for a very long time. But if you print something
mm-hmm,
like ABS or high temperature items, the nozzle will worn off very quickly because it's made of brass, right? You knock the
mm-hmm,
nozzle a bit, the hole will become sengek or become smaller, the hole will
mm-hmm.
deform, then you will need to change a new one. Okay,
I
so
see, I see.
and for leveling bed, if you move your bed here to there, you put in your car, you have to level no matter what, else it can't work. Let's move on to the next question. I think I can take this.
Yeah,
Is it possible
please.
if Ender's if Ender brand can be upgraded to multi extruder? Uh, I would say yes if you know which firmware you need to upload. Multi extruder means you can print multiple colors. You can put multiple filament into multiple extruders, and then you have multiple nozzles to print, or just multiple nozzles, multiple extruders by changing different filaments. So upgradable, yes, but you may need to change your firmware. It may not be able to support multiple extruders, and I believe it's quite flexible for endless printers. You just need to find the right hardware. Okay, let's see. Okay, all right. This question, would you like to take it, Suad?
Do you need a high-end notebook to support this 3D printer? I'm not sure actually about this, but then when you want to print something, you need to slice it using a slicer. For example, apa ni, the Cura. Okay, if that software can run using your notebook or computer or laptop, then it will be okay. You don't
Mm,
need a high-end notebook to support this
mm.
3D printer.
Yeah. Let me shine some light on this. To be exact, you don't need a supercomputer. You don't need a very high graphic computer. I am using an i3 laptop with no graphic card, only Intel graphic card lah. Okay, an 8th gen Intel i3 with no graphic card, and I'm able to run 3D modeling software. I'm able to run Cura software. As long as you're able to run those software, you can convert your files, you can process your file for the 3D printer, and that's fine. The printer, the laptop that a lot of schools in Penang use is actually 1,000 ringgit over, and it works well. You don't need very high-end laptop. That's my opinion. All right. Okay. Thank you for the question. Let's take one more question, and then we proceed to our next part of this presentation.
Okay.
Okay, this is interesting.
What is the worst experience when the print fail? Okay, I don't think that the worst experience is when the print fail. Okay, because that thing you can always print a new things. Okay, the new one whenever it fails. But then if that things take like 1 day to print, and if it fails, then I think that will hurt a bit lah. Okay, but then I think the most how to say the thing that hurt me so much is, you guys can see, okay, since I'm a beginner, can you guys see there is a lot of scratch on my bed? That's not so beautiful, okay, and that hurts me most compared to the print fail, because whenever the print fail, I can always print a new things, but then if the bed is already scratched, then it's also scratch your heart, you know. You need to buy a new
Yeah.
glass bed already. I think that's the worst experience. You need
Yeah.
to level your bed properly, okay, before you
Mm.
start to print. That's
Yeah.
the most important thing, I think.
Let me add to
Okay.
this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's one of the worst experience anyone can get when you first print, and then it starts scratching your bed already, and then you spend so much money, and then you see the bed printing. But
Yeah.
the what I would advise is for anyone who and ever thought of 3D printing or start to 3D print, you have to be ready that there will be a lot of failures in 3D printing, because you won't know what's going to happen. You can check your bed, you can check your nozzle, you can check your temperature, you can check your software, you check everything, and in the end, it still fails. So the 3D printing, it has a very steep learning curve. It's a fun way to learn because you will be getting a lot of problems. You will today you will get bed issues, tomorrow you will get nozzle issues, and the day after you will get filament issues. You will get different kinds of problems. But I'm not meaning to say that there's no solution to all these problems. That's why we have a community there to help you solve these problems, to give you advice. Okay, so my worst experience is actually some random clicking sound at the extruder, and it lasted for 3 months. And I tried to solve it for so long, and finally I get to solve it. It takes time to understand the printer, but once you understand it, you are able to solve a lot of different problems too. Right, so it's a steep learning curve, but it's a fun way to learn 3D printing. Okay, so
Okay.
yeah, I'm not going to. We will go through the questions again, but for those who just joined us, welcome. Thank you for joining. If you are new to 3D printing, you can rewatch this video later on. And if you have questions, burning questions that you want to ask, you need answers to, drop your questions here, because in our next session, we will be discussing on experiences and advice on how you can start your 3D printing journey.
Okay.
Okay, so um,
Okay. So actually I have Shaman, are you still there? I have a question for you. I don't know why I picked Shaman. Maybe because he knows more on 3D printer. I would like to ask you why we need to heat the bed. This bed. Why do we need to heat the bed to a certain temperature?
is
Can
he
you
still
answer
there?
it? Are you still there? Please don't let me down.
I think the question open to anyone. Oh, oh,
Oh
he's
yes,
here.
yes. Okay.
But okay, I think
Maybe
so.
he's
The
typing right now.
question is why you need to
We need
heat
to heat
your
the
printer bed.
bed. Hmm. So that the model can stick. Yes, very true. Okay,
Okay,
that's true.
yeah. All
If
right. So yeah,
if
because
the
how you
temperature
see.
is low, okay, the filament will not stick to the bed and then you can't print. Yeah, thank you, Muhammad Tafi. Yeah, because it help the filament to stick to the bed. Okay, because sometimes, no, last time I also have a problem where the filament is not stick to the bed because the temperature is not properly set. Okay, so you need to you need to heat up the bed properly, okay, to a certain temperature so that the filament will stick and print your 3D object. Okay, so over here, okay, can you guess what I'm printing right now? Okay, you guys can see, right? I'm printing
I,
something.
I
Wait,
can't guess.
you can't guess.
I can't
Wait,
guess.
wait, let me adjust my camera. Uh-huh.
You
Okay,
cannot.
wait. Let me adjust the zoom focus. Eh, how to see? Cannot see clearly lah. Is this better? White guy. Among Us character. No. It's actually this one. A Marvin kitchen. You
Hmm.
guys see? Okay, actually I print this before we start our webinar series. And then when Adrian start to talk his part, okay, when he doing his part, okay, this one is already finished printing. Okay. Okay, and then I print a new one. So that is the new one. Okay, let me just wait. Okay, so okay, when you want to start a 3D printer, okay, you need to insert SD card here. Let's see, right? Okay, SD card here. But then I don't have a SD card here. Why? It's so mystery, right? I didn't insert any SD card, but then how come this printer print a 3D object? I will share with you guys later. Okay, and this is the control panel. Okay, let me adjust this one. This one. Okay. Okay, you guys can see there is, oh no, not so clear. Just this. No. Only this part. Okay, so this is the control panel where you can control everything through here. Okay, this is the print. Okay, and then this is prepare, and then this is control. Okay, you can just move this, turn this knob. Okay, to do whatever you want to do with the printer. Let's say I uh, press for the prepare, and then you have a choice here to set it to home, to set the home offset, preheat the PLA, preheat the ABS. Okay, but then I'm not using this. Okay, and then during the printing, okay, during the printing, you can't actually uh, use not use. You can't actually disturb the control panel, okay, touch the control panel because it will stop the printing process. But today I can do that because I'm not using the control panel to control the printer. Okay, as you guys can see here, I have a Raspberry Pi. Okay, because I control it using my auto print. Okay, let me see here. So this is my auto print. Okay, you guys can see the temperature here. Okay, and then this is the camera for the uh, photo print. Okay, I have two camera set. Okay, one is this. Okay, and then another one is for the printer itself. Okay, so that you can see what happened to your printer whenever you are not with your printer. Okay, through your network. Okay, and then okay, this is how I control my printer, okay, using auto print. And then another thing, okay, that you guys can know, okay, there is so much upgrade, then there is so much more things that you can learn from just printing a 3D model. You can also do this auto print, and then you can also add BL touch to avoid scratch on your bed, okay, because BL touch will help to level your bed properly, okay. Okay, and then I think that's it. Before I pass this to Adrian, okay, before, oh, no, I still have one slide, right? I need to share with them. Can we proceed with that slide?
Yes.
Okay, so this is actually the step by step that you need to do before you start to print. Okay, you need to insert the SD card into the motherboard, and then turn on the power supply, and then adjust or calibrate the height of the printer bed, and then heat up the nozzle and printer bed by adjusting from the control panel that I showed you just now, and then fit the filament into the extruder. And lastly, you just need to select the file to print from the control panel. Easy, just 6 steps, and then you can have your 3D model object print by 3D printer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Suad. So, recap. This is the off the box steps. If you get your 3D printer out of the box, these are the steps that you take to start your 3D printing. You don't have to worry about what you need to do in between. You just need to plug in the SD card, turn on the power supply, adjust the bed level, and heat up the nozzle. Okay, the steps are all okay. If you Google YouTube how to start your 3D printer name, you can actually see a lot of videos out there because this is open source. The community are there to help you. Just watch the video, they will tell you every single thing on what you need to learn about setting up a 3D printer. Every 3D printer have different ways of managing it. So I hope you guys go ahead and YouTube and search on how you can learn it. But if you have questions, yes, drop those questions here. I will try to reply your comment. If I didn't reply your comment right now, I'm sorry, but I will try my best to reply you later on after this session. Okay, right now we have 10 more minutes and let's proceed to the next part of this session without wasting more time. But of course, before we enter this, I see one questions over there that I been itching to reply. Okay, it's a very long question, and I either reply it here or I reply it later in the comment section. But um, just a quick reply. I face clicking issue with one of my 3D printer entry. I've already leveled the bed, changed the nozzle, adjust the extruder tightness and E-steps as well as still clicking. How to solve that? Okay, this may seem intimidating to all of you, to people who are still learning on 3D printing, because there are so many issues that you are getting every day, all right, day in, day out. You want to print something, it doesn't work. But again, fear not, don't be afraid. You just need to ask someone on how you can solve your problem. But again, the expert may not have the straight answer. You will have to go to point A to point B to point C to get your answer. So right now, I've seen that all you have, the steps that you have done is level the bed, change the nozzle, extruder tightness, E-steps, but you haven't looked at the filament yet. It could be the filament already muscle iron or already wet. It's already wet, so you may need a dehumidifier, or you may need to dehumidify your filament. You can try by using a new set of filament to see whether the issue is still repeating. Okay, and then if the problem disappear, it means that your filament already wet. So you will need to take care of the filament. So again, every issues that you face in 3D printing, there is a solution. It's an open source machine. You will surely face problem. Things will worn out, but that doesn't mean there won't be a solution. Okay. So let's continue with our tips and advice for starting out in 3D printing. So how this works is I'm going to read the questions, and then me and Suad will try to answer these questions. We will assume that these questions are in your head right now. You want answers, you are looking for answers, and yeah, that's why we are here today. So question number 1, is it difficult to learn 3D printing? Straightforward. So what?
For me, okay, because I think I already have a medical background in these things, okay. I don't think that it is very hard. Okay, at first I do have a mindset that this thing, should I buy it? Should I try it? Okay, is it difficult? And then after I do some research and then ask so many people about this 3D printer, okay, and then I decided to buy one and then try it on myself, okay. And then I find that at first it's a learning process, okay. There will be some difficult part and then there will be some enjoy part, okay. When you're able to print something using the 3D printer, I think that will be the best moment, okay. What
Okay.
about you?
Is it difficult to learn 3D printing? I am not gonna lie, it's not easy, but it's not very difficult. Okay, you don't need an engineering bachelor to learn 3D printing. You can be an art person. You can even be an accountant to learn 3D printing. All right, there's no fixed background that you need to learn 3D printing. Okay, imagine it like a toy, but an advanced toy for you to practice making things. So 3D printing is just that. You don't have to worry about how difficult it's gonna be, because you will have a lot of things to learn. Unless you hate learning, then okay, I'm sorry. But yeah, it's not difficult. So at the end of this session, actually I have something to give you guys, okay, for supporting this session, and I will stay tuned until the end of this session. All right. Okay. Question number 2: how long does it take you to learn 3D printing? Can you give like a one answer? How long does it take you? So what?
I'm still learning until now.
Okay,
I
me
still
too.
no.
I'm still learning. Okay, so guys, if you are still in this session, feel free to answer this question in the comment section, and we will read it out. Oh, we have
Wow,
someone.
Sharman, 2 weeks only. Power.
Right, drop your comment, drop your answers. We would like to hear from you as well. If you are an expert, please, by all means, give us your advice. We need your advice too. I have been practicing 3D printer for the past 5 years, and I'm still learning today. I'm still learning today because there are so many new problems on my 3D printer every single day. So I would say it's a lifelong journey. You have to learn every single day. Some already forgot already.
It's one
But
day
okay,
also.
one, yeah.
Power.
So some you take one day to learn how to get it work. That's true. But it takes you a long time to learn how to really understand it. But thank you for your answers, guys. Keep it coming. Question number
Yes,
three.
yes.
Where can
Where
I
can I
learn more?
learn?
Yeah, where can
Where
I
can I
learn?
learn more about 3D printing? Where?
Where? Where?
This one, actually, I just go to YouTube, Google, and then, of course, I will always ask you and Brother
Mm.
Damiao on 3D printer because I don't know who else should I refer to. Yeah, YouTube.
Yeah,
That's our
that's the best answer. YouTube, Google, that's the best answer. Imagine 3D printer came out 30 years ago, no YouTube, no Google. But today we have abundant of resources online.
yeah, a
Use
lot.
it, use it, yes, a lot. But one advice that I would strongly recommend is if you are planning to get a 3D printer, get a 3D printer that is already well known to everyone, to the community. Don't get a so new 3D printer that no one knows about it, no one knows how to fix it, there's no support, and then you will be the only one fixing your own problem. No one is able to
Mm.
help you. So get a popular 3D printer, a well-known brand. All right. This leads to our next question. Which 3D printer do you recommend?
Okay, for me, since I only have one 3D printer right now, okay, I don't have any other 3D printer to test out. Okay, but then if I would recommend you guys to buy a 3D printer, if you are a beginner, okay, I would suggest you guys to buy Biku B1, this Ender 3D2, because Ender 3D2 needs you to assemble a lot of things, okay, compared to Biku B1, which is very easy to assemble. Okay, I think that's
You?
my answer. Biku B1.
Yeah. Thank you. So everyone have a different preference on the 3D printer. So I would highlight that you need to know what you want first, what you want to print, how good you want it to be, how many you need to print before you decide a 3D printer. So because we are running out of time right now, I'm going to quickly go through the remaining questions. But of course, bring these questions to our Telegram group later. We will be able to answer you. If you don't know what to ask, these are the questions you should ask if you are not sure about 3D printing. All right, ask us in the Telegram group that I will be sharing with you on the link later. So, question 5, where should I buy my 3D printer? I would say find a local supplier, okay, or you
True,
can get
true.
from Stefan. Don't buy it from America or okay, don't buy it from US or buy it from another different country because if you need help, you're not gonna get help immediately. You're gonna get a lot of delays. So look for a local supplier that you can trust, people that you can help you. Number 6, what material should I use? Okay, this is a whole topic itself. Um, just now Suad used PLA, and I'm not gonna delve into that, but PLA is the best material out there for beginners to try. The material in 3D printing defines the difficulty of 3D printing. If you print a different material, you're gonna get a whole different difficulty in 3D printing. So bear in mind that the material matters. Okay, it changed the difficulty, it changed the level of how you use your 3D printer. All right, I'm going to proceed very quickly, but let me summarize. It's already 12. I'm sorry, I'm taking longer than we should. Today, we covered what is 3D printing and the top 3 common types of 3D printing technology. I hope you still remember the top 3. Number 1, FDM 3D printer. Number 2, SLA. And number 3, SLS. Okay, 3 important 3D printer, 3D printing technology. And then I covered the history of 3D printing. And the third one is understanding the functionality of a FDM 3D printer. Suad demonstrated how a 3D printer works. If you just joined right now, feel free to rewatch this webinar. You'll be able to see how she demonstrated the FDM functionality of her Ender 3v2. And lastly, we talked about the tips and advices for starting out in 3D printing. But due to the lack of time that we have right now, we are going to bring some of the questions to our Telegram group. So join us in our Telegram group and we will answer you over there with a lot of our engineers over there ready to help you.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So before I conclude, I have something to share with you. Okay. Right now, Cytron, we have this Ender 3 education page in our website. If you visit this page, you'll be able to see these 4 huge buttons at the bottom of the screen. Right now, we are highly supporting schools to get their hands on 3D printers because we understand that schools have to teach 3D modeling as part of their RPT subjects, and we are encouraging teachers to practice 3D modeling without the fear of facing any issues. All right, the reason why we are creating a Telegram group, which is the button over here, new to 3D printing, join our Telegram group, is to support beginners and also teachers in learning 3D printing. If you have issues, talk to us and we'll be able to help you. And if you are a parent or if you are an engineer who are working in an industry, but you see a school or your kid's school that needs support in getting a 3D printer, talk to us, right? Hit this button and communicate with us. We will help you to arrange anything that you wish to help the school with. All right. Of course, 3D printer as well. And last but not least, Cytron webinar series, which is the series that you're joining here today. This is our second series. We'll be back here every week on Saturday. Sometimes I will invite special guests to give a talk on special topics. But in this month, we'll be focusing on 3D printing. Anything you want to add on, Suad?
For me, if you guys want to learn more about 3D printer, join our Telegram group, okay, because it's a lot of benefits to you guys. And then, if you want to try, before you buy it, please do some research, then get money for yourself, okay?
Okay. And then the moment that you have been waiting for.
Wow.
Sorry, guys. So every week, during our webinar, we will try to get you a little promotion. For this week, our promotion is that this is the promo code. Write it down. It's only valid over the weekend until Monday, 3rd of May. You will get 10 ringgit discount for any 3D modeling items on our web store. So write it down, and apply the voucher. Don't forget, if you happen to purchase 3D modeling items this weekend. Okay. All right. And I am going to share a bit. All right. I'm going to spend 30 seconds to share about this. So next week, we are going to have a lithophane table lamp using 3D printer. A lithophane is this lamp. Okay, this is a lamp, a lithophane lamp. We are going to show you how you can design this lamp. It's a very cool gift for your family, for Mother's Day, for Haraya. So we teach you how you design this and how to use SketchUp to design the base. It's same time next Saturday, 11 to 12. And of course, I will show you how you can make it into a colorful. You see, I have color here, over here. See, I have color. So this is a colored lamp, a colored lithophane lamp. I'm not sure if you can see it clearly, but in the photo there, it's colored. And the week after, it will be Raya. We will stop one day for the webinar. And the week after Raya, we will have a how to set up a makerspace at home webinar. I will be sharing with you on what you need to start your own makerspace at home and to start your digital making journey. Okay? All right. So again, finally, here is the Telegram QR code and our link. Join us. I will drop the link in the comment section. We encourage you to join our Telegram group so that if you have any questions, you can ask us. We will be able to help you in the group. And of course, we want your feedback on the left QR code or the link. Drop your feedback. Let us know what you think about today's session. Let us know what you want to hear from us in the future session. We want to hear from you. So thank you again for joining us today. And we will see you in Telegram and also our next session. All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, they asked, what is this? This is a little thing, a lamp. A lamp, 3D printed lamp. Okay, thanks, guys. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye.